Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the final session of Day 4 for National Graduate Week. It's great to see so many people have joined today's session. It's Andrew here from careermap.co.uk, and today we're joined by the team from Speedy Services, who will be talking today about their exciting graduate programme offerings. Before we begin, if you look on the right of the presentation screen, you'll see the chat facility, and we're live, so we encourage you to ask any questions at any time. But if for any reason you can't enter your message into the chat today, you can email us at info@careermap.co.uk. Feel free to make any comments and ask questions throughout the presentation, but there'll also be time at the end for a full Q&A session. So thanks for joining us, everyone, today. And before we begin the presentation, could everyone just introduce themselves and give us a bit of an overview of your roles?
Hi everyone. My name's Jill Roberts. I'm the Early Careers Manager at Speedy. So I look after all our graduates and apprentices and manage our attraction, our assessment centres, onboarding, and then look after our graduates and apprentices as they develop their careers at Speedy.
I'm Lois Sharp. I'm the HR and Communications graduate. So I just started in September. And I'm doing the rotational graduate programme, so I'm currently in the marketing department.
Hi, I'm Hannah Spears. I'm a HR graduate, so started in July, working within the HR ops team and helping out with the retail side of the business, which I'll go into a bit more in a bit.
Okay, we're ready to get started. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we're just going to turn our cameras off while we do this. But yeah, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to admit that I can see the counter of how many people are online with us, and my heart is going, but it's absolutely amazing to see everybody. Not see everybody, but have you all on our presentation today. We're really, really excited to be able to share about Speedy. We're going to do a bit of an overview of our business. We're going to tell you about our grad programs because we have two. We're going to do a little bit about our assessment process, how we support our graduates. And then Lois and Hannah are going to do a little bit about their journey so far. And like was said in the introduction, we have then got some time at the end to do Q&A. So I hope you enjoy our presentation. Please feel free to send questions in the chat. Like was said in the introduction, if we don't get around to answering all the questions, I'm sure I can get a copy of all the questions and try and provide answers. But obviously we'll have some time at the end. It'd be great to interact with people. So let's get started then. So Speedy, we want to tell you a little bit about Speedy because actually we're probably not as well known as some other companies out there who take on graduates because historically we've always been very much B2B, so very business to business, and we only started our graduate program in 2017. So you may have seen our logo or our vans darting around the motorway or our equipment, infrastructure projects and things like that. So we are the UK and Ireland's leading tools and equipment hire business. So tools is our sort of bread and butter. Drills, cut-off saws, you name it, but we have loads of different divisions. So not only do we do tools and equipment, we have a specialist lifting service offering our clients lifting options. We have a power service, so we provide power solutions for our customers and clients, from small generators you could use to run some lights in like in like a little tent or a little firework night, or to big power solutions that could power a supermarket. We have a specialist rail provision, so we supply equipment that helps rail infrastructure happen and the railways to be developed. We have a huge power access offering now, as you can see on our slide, and we have amalgamated we have had some acquisitions over the past couple of years, and we've amalgamated our powered access together, and we think we've got the second largest powered access offering in the UK now. We have a specialist survey division, so we offer survey equipment. So quite often in infrastructure projects, you see people out with the little monitors doing all the distances and heights and depths. So we supply that equipment. We have a training division, so we have sort of 30 training locations. We can do training on and off site for our customers, and we do lots of accredited and certified courses. We have a fuel management a division as well. So we supply fuel to our customers. We have tankers that go out. We have on-site fuel provision, and we are the leading supplier of HVO fuel because the environment is incredibly important to us, and I'll go into that a little bit more later. So the hydro-treated vegetable oil. And then we also have a test, repair and inspection business. So this is called our Lloyd's British business, and they can test our customers' equipment to make sure they're safe and legally compliant. We have crane services, and we do safety inspections to make sure everything is compliant, and that is big equipment, really, really large crane towers, things like that. So it has to be tested and made sure everything is well. So we operate across infrastructure, construction, engineering, manufacture, industrial and nuclear. And we have a large network across the UK and Ireland. So we have regional hubs. We have one major hub in the Northwest. We have what's called a customer relationship centre who deals with all our SME customers. We have a web and an app offering, digital offering, which we'll talk more about. We have over 200 service centres across the UK and Ireland, and we also have stands now in B&Q stores, which we'll talk a little bit more about as well, and I know Hannah will talk about that. So we're now looking at the B2C, the customer, the everyday DIYer, small businesses, and we've gone in with B&Q in a partnership there to provide our services and equipment in B&Q. So we have around 2,250 product lines, which then equates to over 40,000 products. We offer the latest in eco products. We do specialist equipment. We have a 4-hour delivery on our top 350 lines, and we've gone into the retail sector with B&Q, as I've just spoken about there. So, like I say, you may not have heard of us, but we're really, really big company across the UK and Ireland, and we are growing rapidly at the moment. So just talk about some highlights from the last financial year, because everybody, when they apply for a role, you want that role to offer some security, and obviously you to be able to develop in it. So just wanted to sort of, particularly in the climate that we're in, sort of look at some of that. So obviously, yes, we were, as a business, hit by COVID in the very, very first lockdown. But since the very first lockdown, the other lockdowns that have come haven't really affected us as a business, because we work across infrastructure and manufacturing and all that, and that stayed open. We were only initially hit with the first by the first lockdown, and during that first lockdown, you can see on those stats on the screen that we took really swift and decisive action, and we furloughed 50% of our staff. We went on to click, call and collect. We shut the depots that were affected by the lockdown. We followed all government guidelines. We implemented a wellbeing programme, and since the first lockdown ended, we managed to get all our staff back into their roles by the 30th of September in 2020. So that decisive and swift action meant that we have made a really good recovery since the first lockdown due to the pandemic, and we are at the moment absolutely flying, growing. There's a lot of infrastructure projects going on. There's a lot of construction, and we align so heavily with those industries that we are growing, and we are ahead of where we were in 2019. We say 2019 now because 2020 was obviously a funny year because of the pandemic, and that for me hopefully should offer you some knowledge that we are a stable company. We're growing, and we during the first lockdown, we had a look at our strategy, and we redid our strategy in that lockdown, thinking about what we wanted to happen after the lockdown, after the pandemic, what was important to us, what we needed to do to keep on growing and keep on being the leader in the industry. So we've got really strong balance sheet, which means that we can go out and make acquisitions and grow organically. And then you can see here, and I'll talk a little bit more about our strategy in a second, digital is incredibly important to us because it's what we need to do. It is the future. Everything is digital, and we need to get on board with that. And what you'll find is that the construction industry, who we align with as well, tend to be about 5-10 years behind. But we know that we've got to get ahead of the game in terms of digital. So it's really strong. ESG is our environmental, social and governance, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. The people is the centre of our strategy. People are everything to us, both our colleagues and our customers. And obviously we're going after that retail and that customer market. So it is just such an exciting time to join Speedy and to be a part of our company. And you might think that I say that because I work for them, but actually it really is. You know, we are so busy and we are growing, and there is so much backing in the company for everything we are doing. It's really, really exciting. Just to give you an overview of some of the customers that we work with. So we work with very, very big customers. Probably some of these logos you recognise. We work with very, very big customers. We work with regional customers, and we work with small SMEs. We cover the whole range, and we get involved in a lot of projects. So basically, this slide is to give you just a brief overview to show that we are structured. We know what we're doing, we know where we're going, we know what we want to work on, and we need young talent to come into our business to complement the experience we've already got, and to learn from each other and to teach each other, because I thoroughly believe that is the best. So you can see our vision there. We want to be the best company to do business with, and more importantly to work for, so our people have the best experiences, our colleagues. And our mission then, we want to make sure we've got safe, reliable projects to allow our customers to do whatever they need to do. So in terms of objectives, obviously, you know, we want to increase our market share. It is a really competitive market, the hire industry. You might not know a lot about the hire industry. It is incredibly competitive. There's a few big players and then lots of small independents coming through. So we are constantly on our toes. It is incredibly fast paced and fast moving. Obviously, we want to increase our profits, but I think what's important in these objectives for you to pick up is we want to improve our customer experience and our colleague or employee engagement. It is not all about money for us. You know, that is important. We have shareholders, we're a PLC, but customers and our people are incredibly important to us. So we have got a strategy of what we would call SSG, so simplify, standardize, grow. So basically, the simplify is all about us being easy to do business with and easy to work for. And I will admit in the past that maybe some of our processes have been clunky, and you know, you go, why do something in 5 clicks when you can do it in 25 clicks? And we'll admit that. And what we've done now is, over the past couple of years, we've really tried to work on that. So we have got a lot of new processes. We've got a brand new system we work off that we switched over, I think, 2 weeks ago. So we're on now D365. You might know Microsoft Dynamics. It's all cloud-based. We have embraced a new change management. We embraced a new change management. I've forgotten the word that I want to say, but we all work to the Prosky model now of change management across the whole business, and you might know that from your degrees or your studies, so that everybody approaches change in the same way, so it goes through really, really well, really, really easily, and without too many problems. And our swap over to our new system has gone really, really well. And the most important thing on Simplify is that the web-based ordering system and our app You know, we are working on our data, we're working on our tracking, we're allowing people who want to go and hire out of B&Q to, you know, to go in, pull up the account on their app, tap in what you need, and then you can pay, and you can go and you can do it all through the app and all electronic. We are really trying to become a business that does not use paper anymore. And it's really exciting to see, because I've been with Speedy for 4 years. So I've sort of seen things before these new systems, and now I'm seeing what's happening once we've got our app and our website and our new systems, and it's just it's worlds apart, and it's really setting us up for the future. And I think that's really important as well, because we have to attract you guys as early talent as well. So yeah, and you want to come into a company that is, you know, forward facing, digital, simple to work for, easy to do business with, and we've got the best processes. In terms of our standardize, so this is all about customer service, and I sort of say this like a McDonald's. If you go to a McDonald's anywhere in the world, although there are slight variations, you pretty much know what you're going to get, and they have sort of very similar models. So we want that whatever service center you go into, you get the same high level of customer service. You know what products you're going to get. You know how you should be treated. So that's one thing we've really worked on with standardize. And then we've also introduced artificial intelligence. So we've got auto replenishment for all our products. And we've also invested millions. I haven't got the exact figure. I'm thinking it's well over 20 million this year in new products across our fleet, so that everybody gets the same high quality products. We tend to keep a really low age on our products, so most of our products are only 2 to 3 years old, and that's how we try to keep it for our customers. And then grow is about B&Q, our retail, going into other markets, but also the grow is about our people, and that's really, really important. So investing in early talent, making sure everybody gets the opportunity to develop their career. We have high potential programs, really robust succession planning, PDRs. We are doing a lot of work on our equality, diversity and inclusion, to really put our people first and make it the best company to work for. And that is key for us, really, really important. I'm very aware of time, so excuse me if I run through some of these slides. So yeah, that just illustrates what I've been talking about. And then this here is just one more illustration for us as a business, in terms of we want to be a one-stop shop for all our customers. They are everything to us, as well as our people. Come and hire your products from us. If you want to buy a product from us, that's okay, you can buy it. We'll test all your equipment for you and anything else you have, and we'll also train you. You don't need to go to 3 different places for all of that. We can do it all, and that's really, really key to us. And then one other thing I want to touch on in terms of us as a business is sustainability and our environmental outlook. We are doing a lot of work, and this is a huge priority for us. We are doing a lot of work on sustainability in Speedy. We are very aware of what is happening in the world in terms of global warming, climate change, and we're very aware that we need to be at the forefront of that, and we need to get ahead of this. And we want to be a purpose-led brand and really fit in with what is going on in the world and be the leaders and show everyone that this is what we need to do. It is the right thing to do. It's what we have to do in order for everybody to do their bit for the environment. We want to move to a circular economy, become zero carbon, making sure that hire is the way to go. All our stuff can be fixed. It is recyclable. All our fleet, we're looking at hybrid. We're looking to move our fleet over to HVO and really push the boundaries in that. We really want to push out into the world that, why go and buy cheap tools that you throw away and then they go to landfill? Hire is definitely the way forward. Don't need to go and buy tools. You can hire them. We're reducing, waste and making sure everything is repairable and recyclable when you are finished with it, and it goes back into that circular economy. So here we are talking about our HVO option, our fuels. We're also doing a lot of work with hydrogen. We're very big innovators at Speedy. We work with a lot of customers to bring some of their new products to market. So HVO and hydrogen is one of the things we're working on, and we want to become net zero carbon. EDI, we're doing huge work on that, and myself and Lois sit on the EDI committee within Speedy. We want to make sure that everybody can be themselves in Speedy. You can be your whole self. You don't need to conform. You don't need to pretend to be someone else. We want everyone to bring their whole self to work. We need to make sure we've got a diverse and inclusive workforce, and this is a major priority for us. We've done a lot of work on it, and we've got a lot of work to do, and we are really pushing that forward now as a business. And then we also want to make sure that we are looking after our communities that we work in. We do a lot of charitable work. We try and add a lot of social value. And then we also want to make sure that we are leaving a legacy and making sure people have got skills. So looking at, you know, working with early careers, apprenticeships, graduates. We do a lot of work with prisoners at some prisons around the country, particularly at HMP Garth. We want to make sure that everybody has that chance to upskill and leaving a legacy. So I can show you some of our social value KPIs, so you can get a feel that actually we're not just talking it. We're actually doing it as well, and we've got a lot more to do, and we understand that. But you can see here the value of the social impact that we've got involved with there. So up to 2021 at over 3 million, and that's obviously down to the work we do with early careers, prisoners, training for our staff. You can see here the figure that we spent on that, what we do with charity, our challenges that we do as a company, and again some more charity here. So we've really been working hard on this. Hannah, Lois, is there anything you want to add to that just before I move on? I'm very aware that I've been talking a lot.
Not from me, no.
Yeah, I think you've covered everything really. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the time, so definitely time to move on to our graduate programs that we offer. So graduates is such a passion of mine, and you will probably hear that from my voice because I tend to go a little bit scouse when I get excited because I'm from near Liverpool and my accent changes. But we have great graduate offering, and again, you think I might say this, but I'm very proud of what we do and what we've developed. So we have two types. We offer rotational graduate roles. So that's a 3-year program. You do 6 6-month placements, and we have 4 streams. We have HR and comms, digital ops, and central functions. We also have a specialist graduate program, which is 2 years long. If you're a specialist graduate, so like Hannah, she does a core role, so she's in HR all the time, but she does get the chance to go out and go to different areas of the business on business experience weeks. Whereas Lois, who you'll hear from in a minute, she's a rotational graduate, so she works in HR and comms. So she's going to go over to HR. She's in marketing now. She'll go to HR ops, HR functions, ESG placement, communications placement, and then she gets a chance to do some options as well. So hopefully by having both of these programs, there is something for everybody. And this is basically probably what I'm most proud of our graduate program, the development opportunities. And what I will say, and you know, just a piece of advice for anybody, whether you want to work for Speedy or not, is when you're looking for a graduate role, really look for a company who has a development program, not just a company that's going to bring you in as a graduate and then that's it, you're left to that with nothing, because it can be quite daunting going from graduate to full-time job. So we have a really structured development program. So you get on-the-job training with whatever departments you're working with. You get a chance to do qualifications if needed and relevant. So our finance graduates, they do their ACCA or CIMA. You get a bespoke internal L&D program that's mapped out for you for the whole of your program. So you do additional learning and development every month. You get a chance to do exec board project. So Lois and Hannah will be taking part in this in January. It starts. So our CEO sets the questions. We split our grads into teams. They go away for a couple of months, research, bring their ideas back. They present to exec board. And if exec board like their ideas, then they will implement them in the business. And this has happened quite a few times. Why wouldn't we? You guys are the future. You guys have got an amazing range of skills and talents. Why wouldn't we take on board what you say? You will get to be a part of our high potential program when you approach your second and third year of the graduate scheme. We see our graduates as leaders of the future. Why wouldn't we start training you up to be that now before you hit that role? We don't like accidental managers and leaders in Speedy. We want everyone to have the skills before they get there. Everybody gets their own mentor, and this is somebody who sits outside of your sort of department. They're a more senior person in the business, and you go through mentor and mentee training. You get a formal induction week, which for Lois and Hannah happened on the week commencing the 6th of September. Lois, because she's rotational, at the end of every 6 months, she will present what she's done and what she's learned before she then moves on to her next placement. Every few months, we bring all our graduates together and we do graduate development days as a team building. I think in December, we're going to do some insights. So looking at our colours and our personalities and, you know, how to interact and work with people in the best way. We have an external company we work with who does specialist graduate training at Induction at 12 months and at 24 or 36 months, at the different transitional periods. We do network builder, and then for those specialist graduates, we have business experience weeks. Now they go off every other month for a week or two to another part of the business to fully understand our business as a whole. So this is our recruitment cycle. So our graduate roles will be advertised. This year, they are likely to go out towards the end of November. They'll definitely be out in December. So apply. We then sift through all the applications sort of January time, and then we begin our assessment centres, and we do all our interviews and offers sort of February to March time. Obviously, these times have to be flexible given, I don't know, pandemics and things like that, but this is the time that we try to stick to in the graduate recruitment cycle. In terms of our assessment process, this is how we work. So you do an online application. We will then obviously sift through them. We then invite people to assessment centre. Assessment centre may be remote or it may be face-to-face. We have been running them remote and they have worked really, really well. But yeah, we'll see when we get there. I do miss face-to-face assessment centres, but we know that remote is easier for people. Some roles we do some psychometric testing, some roles we don't. One thing I will say there on our cycle, we do a very people first cycle. So I know with some companies you do an application, then you do all your psychometrics or your little tests and games first, and then you might get to assessment centre. We don't do that because we like to meet the people first and sort of get to know them, because very much for Speedy, it is about the right person for Speedy. We can train you up to do the job. We know you've got transferable skills. But for us, we want to have the right person for Speedy and make sure that Speedy is right for you. So we sort of do our assessments slightly differently because that's what works for us. And we want to get to know people before they go and do all their automated tests and things like that. So that's really, really important to us. So then if you get through assessment centre and you're testing, then we will invite you to second interview. If that is successful, we'll ask you to come and spend a day in the business, again, just to feel our culture, get to know our people and make sure that we as Speedy are right for you. And then we will go to offers. So we run a robust process, but I would like to think a really fun and engaging and a process that you can learn a lot from as well. And that's really, really important to me. And then supporting our graduates, and then I'm going to shut up and let Lois and Hannah do their bit, because I'm really keen to have some time for question and answer. We do an incredibly supportive process, and that's our choice. And we want to make sure that you get to develop your career really, really well with us, and you know, not burn out, and you know, if there's issues, we sort them out. So before you start with us, so we do a September intake. So, you know, if you are successful with us, you're likely to get offered your role sort of March time. So between March and September, you know, obviously you're finishing your degree and everything, but we will do keep warm activities with you. So, you know, having catch-ups on Teams, meeting members of the team that you're going into, meeting your line manager, talking through what's going to happen at induction, looking at your development plans for when you start. We will keep in touch with you and keep you warm, and you know, maybe come and spend some time in the business. Lois and Hannah both did that on the lead up to you starting. We won't just offer you and then forget about you till September. Definitely not. All our grads will do a formal induction week. So you spend 1 day with me, and then you spend 3 days with myself and our external trainer who we use. And it's been really, really good this year. Getting everyone, and you can see our lovely graduates on the photo there from this year. Everyone's got to know each other. We spent time. We've done team building. We've reflected on ourselves. We've learned about each other, what makes us tick, how we interact, and it's just a really good start to the whole process in your career. We offer 3 monthly development plans, so every 3 months your line manager will look at what you're going to do in the next 3 months. Have you met what we said in the first 3 months? What are we going to progress you on to? We do lots of networking activities in the business so that you're able to meet people and build your network. So that's really, really key. Myself as the graduate program manager, you know, I'm here to look after you. You get a mentor and a line manager. So there's 3 people, a lovely little triangle of support for you there, and hopefully, you know, we're going to help deal with any problems, support you and push you forward in your career. We do progress reviews every 2 months. You obviously get your own L&D program. We do lots of developmental activities, external training. And if you require an individualized support plan, which some graduates do, we'll put that in place. And whether that's because you're struggling or whether that's because you're excelling and you need to be pushed further, that is not a problem for us. So it's a really, really supportive program. Okay, I am going to hand over to Lois.
Yeah, hi everybody. So as I said at the start, I'm the HR and Communications graduate. So as Jill mentioned, that means I do 6 different 6-month rotations. So I'm currently sitting in the marketing department. So just thought I'd run through kind of my first couple of months. I'm still very new to Speedy, so probably a good time to give you guys some information. So the onboarding process, Jill's just mentioned it a bit, but you get to meet people before you join the business, which really helps. It makes it a lot less daunting on your first day, which is really good. And then the structured induction week, this is really good. It means you can build some good relationships with the other grads. You know some faces around the office if you're based in head office. You're eased in. Things like just even knowing where the toilets are in the office, it really helps with that. And you're taught skills that, I mean, for me, they've been really useful just in my first couple of months, you know, how to have conversations with people and things like that. Support and guidance, Jill's mentioned it really well, but you're given so much support at Speedy. So we've been given mentors, the other grads, we have a group chat, we can ask each other questions whenever we need to. Your line manager, and then obviously 3-month development programs. So you're given a really good support program. You're not just kind of left to fend for yourself. So just about my kind of first 2 months. So I've included some pictures on the slide there. I've been attending a lot of different events, photo shoots, things like that with the marketing team. I've been out meeting some of our suppliers and our marketing agencies, which has been really good for me, speaking to different people. It's been very hands-on, which is good. You're not treated kind of like you're here to do work experience. You're really valued, and you are expected to kind of get hands-on and get involved with things, which is really good. And yeah, you work on really exciting projects that align and feed into the business strategy. So you do feel like you matter. And then in terms of responsibilities, just as I mentioned, you are given responsibilities, people trust you. Graduates are really valued at Speedy. So people like the board members, senior people within the business, and just everybody else is really keen to speak to you and get your ideas on different things that are going on.
Do you want to, sorry to butt in, I've
yeah.
doing that. Do you want to talk about what you did on Monday? Lunchtime.
Yeah, sorry. So on Monday, we as grads sat down and had lunch with Dan, who's our COO. So things like that. I mean, and I know in a lot of other organisations, the COO doesn't have time for anybody, let alone some grads that have just joined the business. So he really cared to sit down and speak to us and find out about our experience and any ideas that we have and things like that. So yeah. And then other things you can get involved in, the opportunities are just absolutely endless at Speedy. So as I mentioned, you're welcomed by the departments. I don't have the business development weeks, as Jill mentioned, but I'm sure if I wanted to go and spend a couple of days within another department, I'd be more than welcome to. You can join committees. So as Jill said, I've joined the EDI committee, and we also have wellbeing ones and other committees as well. And then, just as I mentioned, things get involved in speaking to board members, networking, and just growing your communication skills. So, yeah. I'll pass on to Hannah.
Hi, yes, so as mentioned, I was a HR graduate, so I'm just in HR for the next 2 years. So I mainly work within the HR ops team, and with that focusing on the retail side. So I know Jill's touched on the retail side of it all. So you may or may not know that we now have pop-up stores within the B&Q across the UK. This was brought in approximately a year ago to help Speedy achieve the B2C market. And this gives people like yourself a chance to go into your B&Q that has the Speedy store available and hire products such as your cement mixtures, your carpet cleaners, different lighting, your whacker plates, anything really that you think, oh, I could do with that for one day. Then a lot of the B&Q stores have it. I think this is quite an interesting one because like Speedy have never done this before for it to be a success, and I think so far it's working out really well. We're just going through now the second rollout of stores, so hopefully in the next 6 months we should have approximately 40 stores in B&Q across the UK. So it's ever grown really, and it's a success so far. So I started at the start of July. Since then I've had a lot of opportunities and support throughout. So I know a lot of these have been mentioned already, but the onboarding process. So on my first day, everything was there for me: my laptop, my phone, my uniform, everything that I needed. I was met by another HR person who went through everything with me and what I needed to do, because we were still working from home at this point, so it was limited people in the office. And from that, we were given an initial induction week and also a 3 to 4 week induction plan that was put together by my line manager. This really helped structure where I am at what time, just to kind of get me involved. And then from then I've had 1-to-1 reviews with my line manager, her line manager, Jill, just different people really, just to see how I'm getting on. So at least they're getting feedback. We're doing different feedback forms, just so at least Jill's getting an idea of where we're at with everything. 3 months development plans are put in place when you start, so you have an input in this as well. So you tell your line manager what you want from this, and from that they can put together what they think will help in the next few weeks and months. We also get assigned mentors. So we went on a mentee training yesterday in Tamworth, all the graduates along with other employees from the business. And here we were assigned mentors, which we are with for the next 12 months. So we have catch-ups with these every 6 to 8 weeks. And they're people, like I say, directors across the company who are there to help us improve. Now, you can meet them wherever you want. It doesn't have to be within the Speedy environment. They said they can go for a drink or something like that, just to kind of make you feel more relaxed. But their idea is to get the most out of us and hopefully help us progress massively in the next 12 months. So when we started, Jill gave us set us a task of catching up with different employees from outside our team. So I know me and Lois had the same people to catch up with. So we caught up with the category director, the contract delivery manager from one of our companies that we've brought down in Plymouth, and he helps with the engineering of submarines down there. And then also we've also met with one of the finance directors as well. We've also had direct catch-ups, so like Lois said, we met with the Chief Operating Officer on Monday. Now, I think a big thing I've found within Speedy is the people, and a lot of people say it's the people, and I know at the minute, Ellie, our HR director, has got a massive drive on people focused. Now, I feel like if I went to another business, you wouldn't think of meeting all the COO and having a conversation with him or anything like that, but they're so down to earth, and honestly, anything you say, they'll take on board. So yesterday as well within Tamworth, I was sat talking to some of the regional directors I've never met before, but honestly are so welcoming. So they don't make you feel like you're someone really little or anything in the business. They're just any other person who's happy and willing to take on anything you say. And also depot visits. So I've been on a small depot not far from me just to see how they deal with it. And like Jill said, part of your recruitment process when you visit one of the bigger depots. So I visited Warrington NSC, which I'm going again in a few weeks for the week, just to see, you have a tour around, just to see what it's like, get involved with things as well when you go and visit there, just basically to get an idea of what other people do without the business. Because I think it's quite interesting to see how the other parts of the business and how they run, because especially within HR, you don't get to see the outside world as much within Speedy, because obviously you all sat behind a screen a lot of the time doing all the admin kind of day-to-day background stuff. So it's interesting to see what this employees actually do and get their view on everything. So yeah, and I think like the image on the right there is just to share what I've some of the things I thought of when I started Speedy and the words that I think come to mind when thinking of them. I think that's what I've got from my experience so far, the different way. Honestly, it's been such a positive experience so far.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate that. I'll be really, really honest. Both of these ladies have made incredible progress over the past couple of months and had nothing but great feedback. So, kudos to you ladies as well for just getting on and getting stuck in, which is really important. And then, little as a last slide from us, because I do want to leave some time in case there are questions. Just some photographs from our induction week this week. So, everyone getting together. We all went out for dinner. Lots of activities. I think on the right hand side, where the two people are facing each other, I think that must have been probably one of the scariest activities. This was like really honest feedback, wasn't it, ladies? And I was sitting watching it thinking, oh god, I'd hate to be doing that. But everyone embraced the induction week really, really well. There was lots of practical activities, as you can see in the centre as well. We went outside and did some as well. Lots of team building, team bonding. And then one of our lovely graduates had a birthday during the induction week as well. So, we were able to celebrate that. But it was a really good week, and I think really important way to start your career at Speedy. So that's it from us. I think 45 minutes of us talking is probably enough. Just a couple of things from me just to say is that, on our profile on National Graduate Week website, there's an early.careers@speedyservices.com address. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to talk to me in person or have a face-to-face on Teams to find out more, please email. I am so keen to hear from people and to spread our brand out there and to promote Speedy as a company. Like I say, I don't think we're very well known, but it's a great opportunity to develop your career. And also, if anybody wanted to come and do maybe a day or some, experience, if you were thinking of applying when our roles come out before you applied, that's absolutely fine as well. We can organise things like that because, like I say, it's got to be right both ways. And one thing I'll just say before I really, really do shut up, Hannah just touched on then about the people. I have a thing that I say to everybody, that it's a Speedy family, and that might sound gooey or soppy, but it's not meant to be. It really is. We're a big company. We've got 3,300 employees, big company, but not massive, that you can't feel like you know people and that you can get to know people and build really good relationships. So I count people in Speedy as my extended family. I've made some lifelong friends there, and it's a great feel, and I think a great great way to develop and start your career, because we're slightly smaller than maybe some very, very big companies. You get more opportunities to interact with that board level and the director level, and have the mentorship and go and experience lots of other departments that you might not necessarily get in other places. So that was just the last point from me. So yeah, so I'm hoping that our lovely career map person is still on the webinar.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, guys. Jill, Lois and Hannah, I thought that was really informative, and it gives a good insight into what it's like to work at Speedy. Yeah, I think that we've had a bit of a problem with the chat box today, but we've had a lot of questions coming in through email, so I'll try and run through as many of them as I can. Some of them you might have covered already throughout the presentation, but I'll just run through them and get through as many as we can.
And if I can't answer, then we'll get an answer and we'll get those answers back.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, the first question, which we've got from quite a few people, is basically, how would you each describe the culture overall at Speedy? What would you describe it as in a few words?
I would say it is people focused, cohesive, collaborative, caring, but we're also all, really driven to grow the company and innovate and diversify, and like I've probably just said, that whole family feel as well. So I think we have gone through a massive culture shift since I've been here, and it's definitely that very much collaborative, people focused, the experience. For me, it makes it, a brilliant place to work. Ladies, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say friendly. If I had to pick 3 words, I'd say friendly, passionate and motivating.
Yeah, and I think I would say probably adaptable to the, like say, with your job, rewarding and growing.
Yeah.
Not just ourselves, but also the business itself.
Yeah. It's a very exciting time to come on board with us.
Yeah, I definitely got that through from your presentation. The things you were saying, I thought that as well. So we've also had a lot of questions about sort of the training that you received. So you talked a bit about the development program. So people are asking, what is the training like and what is the progression from that training? And then is the positions available after completing the graduate scheme?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the training, first of all, so can I flick back on my slide? Let's just go and see if we can find, because I'll forget otherwise, because we do that much. So this slide here, so in terms of the training, so like the on-the-job training, so that's very much about whatever department you're in. So Hannah's obviously in HR, Lois is in marketing at the moment. So you will learn about those departments, the processes, what they do, all the tasks that need to be done. We will train you to do that, show you the systems, how to use them. Obviously, we've got plans. We have 3-month plans about what you need to learn, how you need to go about doing it, how you know if you've been successful, have you met it. And then obviously, if you need additional qualifications in order to do your role, then we will provide you with that. Like I said, the finance guys do their ACCA or CIMA. I've got my account management graduates doing a sales qualification, things like that. But that's all quite technical training for the job that you're going to do. And then we have internal L&D. So that focuses on the other skills you need. So you could be the best marketing person. Well, I don't suppose you'd be the best marketing person in the world if you couldn't talk to people, but you know what I mean? You could be the best at your job, but if you can't have a decent conversation with people and do difficult conversations, then it's going to be really, really difficult. So we look at soft skills. So we're doing all emotional intelligence, time management, difficult conversations, behavioral courses. We also offer a suite of e-learning packages and through LinkedIn learning, presentation skills, finance for non-financial managers, so you understand how to read P&Ls and all the finance speak within the business, which is really, really important. So You know, it's not just about you learning the job, it's about that soft skills to complement that you'd need for any role wherever you were. And then obviously then you've got the high potential program as well, which develops your behavioural skills at a deeper level and sets you up to be a great leader in the future. So you know, we try to cover every aspect that we can. And then you said something about going on to roles afterwards, was that right?
Yeah, so after you've completed your graduate scheme, is there positions available then after?
Absolutely. So yeah, sorry if I didn't make this clear. If you come on as a graduate with us, it's a full-time role. So we don't kick you out after 2 years, 3 years. We want you to stay with us. So it is a permanent role. So in terms of graduates, so Lois, as a rotational graduate, once she's done her 3 years, we'll sit down and we'll look at where her skill set is, what she enjoyed the most, and where we're going to place her in the business. Whereas Hannah, because she's a specialist grad, when she finishes her 2 years, she will stay within HR, but she might go into another area of HR, but she will stay within that function. And in terms of, you know, previous graduates, I've got a list of some of the roles that they've gone on to do. So things like management accountant, business improvement partner, supply chain manager, implementation manager, environmental advisor, data analyst, digital marketing exec, company secretarial assistant. So we want you to stay in Speedy. Now, not everybody stays in the role that they do, but they may stay in Speedy. So for instance, we had a graduate, Hannah, her name was, she was a transport graduate. She worked over in logistics. She did her 2 years there. She was absolutely amazing. But then at the end of the 2 years, she went and became a business improvement partner because she had real strength in process and getting things right and knowing what needed to happen at what point and how it needs to flow. So she moved over to business improvement, which is great. Absolutely fantastic. She's still with us and she's doing an amazing job. So knowledge of the business and a core skill set are essential in the right people, but then we can train up all the other bits. Absolutely. So there's, you know, so much room for progression.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. Another question that we've had quite a lot, and I'll sort of group it into one, is sort of as a graduate with Speedy, what's the most challenging thing you've faced so far, or what new skills have you learned? And then as well, what's been the most enjoyable part?
Ladies, I'm leaving up to you.
It's quite a hard question. I think challenging, it is quite a hard one. I would say, personally, I'd never done marketing before. I'd always kind of done placement years and things like that in HR. So it was learning a whole new kind of skill set in a way. Marketing is very different from HR. So that was a challenge, but I'm only, 8 weeks in now, and I feel like I'm getting there with it already. I've been given the support to succeed. So, and what was the second question? Sorry.
So yeah, after your challenges, what's been the most enjoyable thing that you've experienced so far with Speedy?
So I think enjoyable is just all the different people that I've met so far. Just by the nature of one of the projects I'm working on at the moment, I'm having meetings with regional directors and people from all over the business and all over the country. So I think that's just the most enjoyable bit for me, just getting to meet and speak to everybody.
Yeah, I think for me, the most enjoyable, again, and to Lois, thing like the people, that's obviously a main one, because everyone's so welcoming. Like I say, sometimes when you go into a new business, you don't know how you'll fit in or how quickly you'll settle in. But I think I can say for myself anyway that I've settled in really quickly and really well. And also, like achieving new things as well. I think it's been quite an enjoyable process. Like you go into something that you haven't really, like being in the hire industry, I think it's quite an unusual one. Not a lot of people are in it when they join. And I think to achieve some of the stuff that I have done within the industry that I knew nothing about before, it's quite interesting. And it feels quite nice to know you've accomplished that. Challenging for me, again, I think it's quite a hard one, but I think starting off, because when I started, I was working from home straight away. Now I quite enjoy the hybrid working from home and working in the office, but at the start when I was working from home full time, it was quite a challenge just to get to know other people. It was meeting after meeting just to try and get my head around everything. So I think the start of it was quite a challenge just to get my feet under the ground and get going with it all, just generally because it was online. But hopefully by the time you guys join this time next year, you won't have that problem.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. And another sort of question we get is based around like application hints and tips. And we've got a specific question about the industry. And did you consider the industry any time before? And did you have any knowledge beforehand?
No, so personally, I'd never heard of Speedy. I hadn't considered the industry either, and had little knowledge. I would say just with the application process and that kind of question, just do your research. There's loads of news articles and things like that, and Speedy has all the relevant information and stuff on our website and on our social media as well. So I think anything you need to know about what we're doing or the industry, you can get from our social media channels or just the main news.
Yeah, again, I don't think I had much. I came from a construction background, which I did on my placement, very different to Speedy. It was more transport, and I was working on a quarry site. Again, they're within HR, so it wasn't. It doesn't really matter what big company you work for. It's everything, like I say, it's doesn't matter what kind of background you've got if you know your stuff. But also, like Lois said, do your research, be prepared for the interviews, and especially with the assessment centres, just be yourself. I think that's the main one, that you've got to be yourself, because if you put on the face, you've got to then keep it up then for your next 2-3 years. So if you be yourself from the start, then you'll be fine.
And I'm going to chip in and just say, because I have seen a message come through on the chat about knowledge of construction industry. When I applied to Speedy, I didn't have any knowledge of hire or really a lot about construction, obviously just general knowledge. But, you know, as long as you obviously have done some research before you come for assessment centre and things like that, and obviously, you know, hopefully look at it before you apply as well. You know, as long as you come with an open mind and you're willing to learn, I think you can come with limited knowledge, because we will teach you all that. And I've been here 4 years and I still learn things every day about the infrastructure and the engineering and the sectors we work across and construction. I still learn every day because it is we do work across such a wide range. So, you know, just having some general knowledge and making sure you've done your research is good enough for us. Like I've said, it is about the right people fitting in our culture and within our teams and our business, more so than about your specific knowledge. We can help you with all of that.
Okay, thanks a lot. And another question that we've had quite a lot is, what are the type of challenges that Speedy are facing now? You mentioned it's quite competitive and fast moving. Yeah. So what are you guys doing to help stay ahead, and how do you plan on growing in the future?
Yeah, I think we have a great we have a great leadership who are open to hearing about what people in the company think we should do. So those people who are on, you know, the coalface effectively day in, day out, and who are open to bringing in new talent, new ideas, like our graduates and our apprentices, and them telling them what we think we need to do. So I think that's one key thing. We're just open to, you know, to all of that. It isn't just like a very, very hierarchy. This is what we're doing, and because we think so. So that's great. I think as well, we've got a leadership who know we have to move with the times, and we are in a very competitive market. So I think we have diversified massively. So the first slide that I put up with all those little circles on, probably when a few years ago it was very, very tools, you know, just tools. But now we've got the power, the lifting, the fuel, the eco, the training, the survey. We have diversified, and we go after now lots of other markets. So you know, probably again a few years ago it was very, very much construction and infrastructure, but now we're going after, you know, the industrial, the nuclear, you know, all of that, because when recession hits, if recession hits, but when recessions have hit, tends to be the first industries that are impacted are like infrastructure and construction. So, you know, we have had to diversify to mitigate any risks like that. And we innovate, and we are looking into the future. So with new products, we're looking into the future with all the environmental stuff, because we have to do something because of the impact that the environmental situation we face is going to have. So we are mitigating for that, and, you know, making sure that we've got the best people with the people development we've got going on, that they are the best trained, they enjoy their job, they are the best at what they do, so that we keep ahead of the competition, and we never stand still. And that's why it's very, very fast paced. We can't stand still because of the industry. So that's why we're pushing the digital out, even though some of our clients probably aren't ready for it. We've got to push it out because they will be soon, and we've got to get it right. And the website and the app and the, you know, the click and collect and the B&Q and the retail. And yeah, it's just really exciting. But I think we've got a leadership who can see it. They can see everything, and they're not so high up that they're too scared to be told. From, like, if I had an idea, I could quite easily send our CEO a Teams message and say, have you thought about this? And he'd reply and go, wow, okay, yeah, brill, let's look at it further. And that's really, really good.
Yeah, okay, thanks for that. So yeah, just moving on to sort of the final question that we've had quite a lot of people asking is about how much responsibility do you get as a graduate, and like how much input do you have into the, you know, like the growing and the competitiveness of Speedy?
I think just because you're a graduate doesn't mean you're going to have any less input than anyone else. So I think if there's a certain thing you think, voice your opinion, voice your ideas to the line manager or someone at jail or someone like that. Just because, like I say, it's you can have whatever opinion you want. They will get listened to. It's not just because you're a graduate you won't get pushed to the back of the line and anything like that. It's not like that at Speedy. And responsibility as well. Again, just because you're a graduate, you won't get less responsibility. They treat you like any other employee. They'll give you responsibilities from the start. They'll and like I say, now I just feel like I've been here a long time with all the responsibilities I'm having, and I think it's nice to feel like that. Feel like you've got your responsibility. You feel like you're doing well if you're there trusting you with the responsibility. And I feel like whatever role you're within, you always get given a lot of trust. And as long as you can prove it, then you'll do well.
Yeah, I think you trusted from day one, really. I know my manager sat me down and said, you know, you're not here to make tea and coffee. You are given that responsibility, and especially with the 3-month development program, it outlines from day one what you're going to be working on and the targets that you have to achieve. And I think you're given that responsibility, but I think there's scope for more as well. So, you know, if you go out and seek extra work or want to get involved in other things that are going on, Speedy are really good for that. So there's always more to be done. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate that, you know, obviously has been driving the grad program from 2017. For me, it is absolutely key that our graduates are given a proper job, and they all have a proper job, and they are from day one. It's a proper job, you know. You've got those responsibilities, and because, you know, what a waste otherwise. Because graduates, you guys have got so much talent, so many skills. You know, you are digital leaders. You blow my mind, quite frankly. You know, and the grads this year have absolutely blown my mind, some of their things. So it would be foolish of us not to give them the responsibilities and a proper job right from the word go. You will not come into Speedy and just be expected to file things and make tea and coffee. You will have to make brews. That is really important. But, you know, it is, you know, what's the point otherwise, basically, for us? So yeah, you really will just get stuck in from day one.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, guys, for that presentation. Again, I thought it was really informative and good. It gave a good insight into what it's like to work at Speedy. I just wondered if you had any final comments or, you know, places for people to go for more information.
Yeah, so again, feel free to go and have a mooch on our website and explore what we are and who we are as a business. We've got a video on our Speedy Services profile, National Graduate Week of some of our graduates. There's an email address on there, so you can email me and ask any further questions. There's some documents on there, our graduate program booklets, if you want to have a further read into each of the programs. You go and find out more about the hire industry. It's a really great and exciting industry to get involved with. Like I say, we're not the only player. There's lots of players in there, and something that a lot of people don't know about. And yeah, just reach out if you need anything. And like I say, our roles will hopefully be out end of November, but definitely in December. And I'm really excited for what we're going to do this year. I think we're going to have we're going to have a lot of roles. There's a lot going into early careers this year because the business can see how important it is for them to push forward in the future. And then, yeah, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for attending. It's definitely probably one of the scariest things I have ever done with the amount of people that have been online. Ladies, have you got anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I would just say, and it sounds cheesy, but genuinely, this is probably the best place I've ever worked at. I've never worked anywhere with, I know we've said it loads, but with people like we have at Speedy and with the support and stuff. So I know it might not be an option many of you will have considered yet, but yeah, as Jill said, definitely go and look into it. It's just a great place to work. So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Lois and Jill have both said. They say, do your research. Jill's always there if you need any extra questions across in the meantime. Yeah, good luck and hopefully see some of you next September.
Yeah, so thanks again to Speedy, Jill, Lois and Hannah, and everyone else that joined us today. Just to remind everyone that the session has been recorded and it will be uploaded to careermap.co.uk soon, so you can refer back to it at any time. And we hope you enjoyed today's session, and we hope to see you again tomorrow for the final day of National Graduate Week.